It's been 40 years since white supremacists gunned down talk radio host Alan Berg in his driveway in Denver. He was Jewish and liberal and not afraid to take on neo-Nazis and the KKK.
A movie that's premiering this weekend tells the story of the gang that killed Alan Berg. It's based on a book written by two Rocky Mountain News reporters. Kevin Vaughn from our 9 News Investigates team was also a reporter at the Rocky for years. Kevin's with us now, and obviously this is a story you know very well.
Tom and Kim, I was in college and I vividly remember picking up the paper the next day. And I worked alongside the authors of this book for more than a decade. We became friends. One of them sadly is no longer with us. But as I speak, the other one is on his way to Venice and the film's premiere.
It was clearly a message killing 13 slugs from a machine gun.
Alan Berg's murder exposed a violent white supremacist movement.
Killing Alan Berg was probably their biggest mistake because it's what led directly to their downfall.
A movement that Kevin Flynn helped chronicle at the Rocky Mountain News, exposing the extremists behind it. Extremists who were unrepentant.
You know, you can call it racism, but it's simply obedience to the instincts for species preservation.
Flynn and fellow Rocky reporter Gary Gerhardt,
Huge bear of a man, but a gentle gentleman,
wrote the 1989 book, The Silent Brotherhood.
You know, Gary passed away 8 years ago. He always said to me, you know, this would make a great movie.
Now it's happened, with Jude Law as the FBI agent pursuing Berg's killers, and Nicholas Holt as the leader of the group, known as both the Silent Brotherhood and the Order. Flint spent time on set, watching filming with his wife, and helping Gary Gerhardt's daughter spread some of his ashes at one location. The Order premieres Saturday at the Venice Film Festival. Is this sort of surreal? What's your emotional feeling about all this?
I'm thinking a lot about Gary and how he was right. And I'm wondering how much of what he put into the action is responsible for all this.
It was Gerhardt who wrote most of the action scenes in the book. Flynn knows not everything in the book will make it into the movie.
It's not going to bother me at all. What it will do is tell the overarching story of how extremism is endemic in America, how it rises and falls cyclically from time to time. And that's the story that needs to be told, not what did this guy say on page 239.
There's a lot of star power in this movie. Comedian, actor, and writer Mark Maron plays Alan Berg in the film. Kevin Flynn is now a Denver City Councilman and is hoping to arrange a screening here.
I always wonder when you tell a story as a writer, even if it's a fiction story, how Hollywood takes it and runs with it. In this case, I imagine the facts are pretty important to Kevin Flynn, that they at least, you know, while they have to take some Hollywood license, that they really tell the story as it happened.
He hasn't seen it yet, but he believes that it will tell the story he thinks needs to be told, which is the story of violent extremism and how it comes and goes, and this terrible situation in the 80s in which Alan Berg was the first of a number of planned murders by this group.
So that's kind of probably what he is hoping like this film will do. I mean, if you've lived in Colorado for any period of time, you've heard about it and you know how terrible it was. But the film, I guess, reaches a larger audience because we were shocked, I think, in Colorado when we realized these people were here and operating. And, you know, Alan been talking about them for a long time on the radio.
He had, and you know, he was not afraid to take on anybody and everybody, and that's part of what made him a target. And the fact that he was Jewish made him a target. And that's the story Kevin believes the movie's going to tell. He's very excited about that. And as he pointed out, you know, there were 42 characters in the book. You can't have 42 characters in a movie.
Well, if you were here, you remember that it shook Denver. And, you know, Alan Berg was a very popular, very well-known radio personality. This will be a film that I think people who've been in Denver for a long time and in the metro area will want to see. And maybe, you know, it's maybe a hard watch, but it'll take you back.
Yeah, and it shook Denver for a period of time because there was weeks and months when we didn't really know why this happened or who was suspected of doing it.
Those reporters that refused to give up the story. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's an interesting and sad time in our history.
Kevin, thanks.